Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video we saw the potential use of MCP, Model Context Protocol, which is introduced by Anthropic Cloud. So we have a basic understanding what MCP is and how it helps different AI tools to integrate for our applications for different purposes. So I better suggest you to go and check out this video at my channel. Then you can proceed with this demo, so you have a better understanding what MCP works and how it integrates different AI tools together. So yeah, let's get started with the demo for this MCP. So today in this demo we are going to create a simple chatbot. Basically we created a simple Python chatbot which will handle and in which we integrated the MCP servers, and we implement different tools, uh, different resources and the prompts as well. So these are the three features we can add MCP in, and it is now currently evolving a lot. So when I made this video, it might happen that a new some new enhancement will come, and you will having a lot more in this field to use this MCP protocol, Model Context Protocol for AI. So basically this is created by Claude. So let's start the demo. So for that I created a sample code for our chatbot. So in this I used the Azure OpenAI keys to use, and basically you need some configurations handy to use the LLMs and use some different resources so that you can call the LLM language based models, which helps us to generate the responses. So for this demo I have my own Azure OpenAI credentials ready with me. So basically let's first create a sample chatbot first, and then we will create different servers. So basically the working of this chatbot is nothing but just uh, calling the queries from the users and then interpret based on the which is the best way, which is the best tool, which is the best resource, or which is the best prompt it will handle. So based on that it will choose automatically, this chatbot will choose automatically and respond accordingly. So before looking into the MCP chatbot code, let's just go to the uh, research server which we created. So uh, this is our uh, basically you can say this is our MCP server which we created, and you can say that the MCP chatbot which we are creating as works as a MCP client. So here this is our MCP server. We created a research server in which we imported different file related informations from archive, and then we created some tools and resources and prompts. So let's just go one by one using this. I will share this code um, in using a GitHub link, and also provide you the guide how to implement those and create your own chatbot, create your own MCP server, integrate them. So let's get started. So let's look at the research server.py. So we are using fast MCP server to initialize, like it uses fast MCP server and we name it as research server. So in this MCP server we created some different tools, resources and prompts. So let's just define a simple tool with search paper. So we are having research paper from the website, like there is a library called archive which we can import from Python, and it will gives us the different research paper based on different topics whichever you will find. So we will create a simple tool with research paper which basically search the papers on archive based on the topics which we are provided. And we also adding some arguments to it, like how many maximum results you want, how many paper will it search for, and then based on that it will give me the paper IDs also and the list of informations regarding from those papers. So you can see this is a simple function which calls the archive client, and then based on the inputs, based on the topics and how many maximum results we want, and it will find out. If we don't pass any maximum number of results, by default it will take count of top 5 research papers, and based on that it will give you the research paper and give you the information. One more thing it will do, it will create a folder into the papers directory in which where you are creating this research server.py. You can see paper directory, and inside that the topic which you searched, it will create a folder with that name and put those research paper into those with its link and title, author, summary as a JSON file. You can like a metadata, you can say, put all those things into a file, like what are the papers it references and all. This is the first tool which we created. This is basically the searching the papers, you can say. Next one is extracting the info. If this is search paper, actually search the paper based on the topics which we provided. Next thing what we want to do, next thing we want to extract the info from those papers. If we want a specific information from those topics, then we can extract those also. So you can also pass this paper ID of the which we found in the from the search paper, and then ask that give me the summary of this paper ID. Then it will provide the information regarding that summary, regarding that papers which we earlier found. So these two tools we introduced. Different tools may we can create for our specific use case, for different which we can use in our different applications. Next, we created a resource. We created two resource section in which where the it will access the resource which it created earlier. Like when we search paper, it will created the papers folder and get save there all the papers which it searched for. So we have to give access to those folders as well, otherwise it will not able to retrieve the data from there. So we have to uh, give the access to those paper folders which is created. So it will also so that's why we created get available folder. So it will go in that folder, paper folder, and find like how many folders are there, how many topics we searched for, basically that. So it will get those, and you can say a simple markdown like these are the available topics we will see. Next one is how many topic papers. We will define a get topic paper. So if we want to a specific topics which we earlier saved, which we earlier generated, it will just go into this paper section and paper folder, paper directory, and just fetch out those results and give it to us. So you can see all the paper information related to the topics which we want to find out. And also we also created a prompt, default prompt for our server, MCP server, which will act as a template, you can say, prompt template for whatever we want to extract from this MCP chatbot. So you can say we created a generate search prompt. So this is the prompt which it give us, which it send to the LLM models, and then based on the number of papers, topics which we want to extract, it will send this prompt to the LLM, and based on this it will generate the responses. So these five tools, resources and prompts which we created in this MCP server. So this is our MCP server which we locally built, We can also integrate this with the different Cloud application like Cloud Desktop, different MCP clients like Cloud Desktop and other. So we will see that in the next video. So in this video we will use our own chatbot, MCP chatbot, which we created as a client to use this MCP server. So here we have to first define the chatbot, whatever API it uses. If you have any Cloud API, you can use that as well, endpoint and whatever it requires to call the LLM models. So you can use that also. Next we have to connect to the server. So we define a function which will connect to the server and fetches its all tools, prompts and resources. So you can see it will give all the lists of how many tools are there, how many prompts are there and how many resources it has in the MCP servers. So we have to connect to the server. Then we can also it will for the sake of knowledge, when we start this chatbot, we also printing these tools, like these many tools are available, these many prompts are available in our uh, server, you can say, and is connected with this MCP chatbot client. Next, a function for processing the query, whatever user provide us, it will process and send it to the LLM using the LLM model which you have, which whatever you used. I'm using the Azure and OpenAI endpoint. You can use anyone like Claude 1, Gemini 1, anything else. So next one, we are taking the query from the user and sending into the LLM, and based on that it will take first it will take the query and then analyzes, MCP analyzes where it should be sent, where it's either it should be sent to the tools or the resources or the prompts. So you can set it here, this segregation will happen, and based on our requirement, based on the user query, it will send to those, and then with the help of LLM it will generate the response. So we also added uh, different resources like get resource, to getting the resource from the papers folder what we have, list the prompts, whatever prompts we have, and the execute the prompt as well. So if we have any prompt like like if it has to call the prompt, then it will go check the query, and based on that it will execute the prompt with the prompt it has available. Next we have a chat loop. Basically this is our main application where when we started this MCP chatbot.py, it runs and it's had some commands where you want to go and how the chatbot will work. You have the appearance come up, and then you can start with this. So you can see, and we are calling this MCP chatbot class. So this is a high level overview of this chatbot. I will send this code through my GitHub, and in the link in the description you can use that link and create this chatbot at your own environment as well. So I also created a readme file also. Let me just review this MCP chatbot, how it working, and then we can implement those. So we have one MCP chatbot file, one readme file in GitHub, one requirement file which it needs to install all the dependencies, one env file to store all the credentials, and then research.server for the different server which we created, like different tools, resources and the prompts which we created on the MCP server. And with we have to connect this using a service config.json file. So this is the server config.json file which connects this with the different uh, like different file systems as well. So you can see we have this research server which is currently connected with the MCP chatbot, but if we also have this file system uh, in place for the MCP servers, and we also have this MCP server fetch. So MCP server fetch will basically, if you pass any link to this, it will fetch that link, read that link and summarize it, whatever you want to do, creating some documents, anything else. So we have three different servers, MCP servers. This is the research server which we created. This is the file system which we give access to. It will give, in this we only give the access of this project folder, MCP project. So you can also rename it based on that. And we also have a fetch functionality, fetch server, which is a Python library basically, which basically fetches the links which we shared. So that is this brief overview of the code. Let's jump into the live demo and learn how to create this MCP chatbot and use the tools, resources and the prompt. So I'm just opening a VS Code in which we will create this demo. So just opening a empty folder in which we will copy the GitHub link, GitHub repo, which I mentioned in the description box. So I'm just going to that. I'm just selecting this folder demo. So this is an empty folder which I created for this demo only. Just skipping all these things. So yeah, let's just, in this demo, open the terminal. You can just go from here, or you can just click Control and asterisk. It will open the terminal for you. Let's, for a few minutes it will opening the terminal, then we will proceed. We have to first clone the repo from the GitHub, and then we will proceed how to install and what are the things required. So to do this demo, you need a Azure subscript, need a LLM endpoint, like the API key of the LLM, which LLM model you want to use. So for this demo I am using Azure OpenAI, so I have those credentials with me. So whatever model you want to use, you have to put those endpoint, their API key, how to access those into those. So once the terminal opens, just clone the repo, type git clone, and this is the GitHub link. I will provide this link in the chat, in the description. You can, so it is cloning my repository here. You can see right now it started. It's created a folder MCP in which inside that it will create all the things. You can see we have one environmental file, MCP chatbot, then the readme file in which you will be able to see. If you click on open preview, it will open in preview mode. Let me just right click on it and open preview. So yeah, you can see this is the readme file, then the requirement file. These are the libraries which is required to do this demo. Then this is our research server.py file, and this is our server configuration which we discussed to configure this MCP client and this MCP server and this MCP client which we built as chatbot. So let's go and start how to set up it on our environment. So for the sake, I'm just entering my Azure Open endpoint and this deployment name here. So I'm setting it up, and then after setting your endpoint, API key and the different, like, to access the model, whatever you want to set in the code, you have to make some changes according to that only. If you want some other LLM model to use, you can use accordingly here. So once you set the environment, after that you have to just go to the, you can follow this readme file as well. You have to just we are already cloned the repo, and then navigate to the project directory first. So you have to just go to the project directory, that is MCP, and inside this project directory we have to create a virtual environment. So it's a better practice to create a virtual environment whenever you create any project. So all the dependencies and the libraries are installed into that Python, into that environment only. So we are using Python here, so currently it's creating a Python environment for us in this repo. You can see .venv. So it will take few seconds to create the virtual environment. Next we have to run this command to activate this environment. So you can see our Python environment is created .venv. Next we have to activate this environment using this script. Just copy this and paste it for the Windows one. I'm currently on Windows and this is for the Mac OS. So we can see this in this virtual environment we are entering, and now we have to install all the dependencies right here. So just run this command. It will install all the dependency required for this project to build this MCP chatbot to build. So let me just go and check the requirement files. So these are the libraries which it needs. Archive needs for the document one, like then MCP server fetch to fetch any links, OpenAI to connect with OpenAI. If you are using any other models, LLM models, you need to import write those libraries here only. If you want to any other install any dependencies or libraries from Python. So there are other libraries as well, like HTTPX, MCP to creating the server tools, prompts, etc. So it is installing all this installing all these requirement files into my Python environment which we created right now. So it will take around 2 to 3 minutes to install all the dependencies. Then we have to set the environmental variables which we already set in the env file. You have to put your credentials there. Next we have to configure the servers like which we created. The research server.py, we created two tools, two resources and one prompt. So this prompt is basically uh, uh, generating a prompt for to extract the number of papers for a particular topic in a better manner. So yeah, the two tools are search paper and the extract info from those papers. So these are the papers searched from the archive library. And the two resources we have, so we have we created one papers folder in this environment. So whenever we search any topic, it will create a paper folder and then it will save the resources sections. In the resources section, it will save the um, papers which it extracted. So this is the research server, and we have to configure this research server to be accessed from the MCP chatbot client. So this is the research python.research.py. We have to pass this. We need to connect with this research. So this server.config helps us to do that. So we have to define how many MCP servers you want to add. We are using research server. Then file system to giving the access of the current directory. So that's why we access the file system. For that we need the node to be installed because it is running using the npx command, and one is the fetch. So it basically fetches any URL and summarizes based on top of that. So it's taking a lot of time right now, so we have to wait for a few minutes, then we will proceed. So this is server.config JSON file to initialize all the servers which we want to connect. So inside this file system we have given the access to read write access regarding this folder. In this research we have two tools, two resources and one prompt, and in this fetch server we are able to fetch any website from the any website and make a summary or anything which we want to generate. So this is the server.config file. basically. I also written some brief information on this. Next, after the requirement is installed, our chatbot is completely set up. Whenever you see this upgrade to the next version, so there is some pip version upgrade is available, so if you want to update it, just run this one. For now I'm just leaving it, and let me just clear this screen, and now let's just run this chatbot, try out some uh, queries. So in the readme file I also mentioned, like, if this upgrade the pip command if something not works. So yeah, that's how our chatbot is ready. Let's run using the python mcp chatbot.py. So it's running right now. You can see sometimes this error listing the tools prompt and resources in the file system occurs because there are no tools and prompt resources present in the file system. It's kind of a library of node.js which we are accessing and giving the access of this um, giving the access of this directory workspace, you can say. And it is connected to the resources because here the tools prompt and resources are created, because this is the research server.py which is connected here. Then in the fetch one also, that's the library only, where we will not having any script right up here. It will directly calls the python mcp fetch server. So you can see total tools we have are 15, which includes the tools required for the file system and the fetch as well, and two prompts are there. So one prompt is inside the research one and one prompt is the inside the fetch one. There is one prompt available in the fetch one as well. So you can see the chatbot is started, and here are some guidelines how to interact with this chatbot. You can just type quit or exit to close the chat, type any @folders to check whether any already already search topics are available or not, because uh, whenever you search any topic, it will create a folder of that topic inside this folder. So you can see that currently there is nothing, no topics found. So let me just search a topic here. Let me just search let me just search search 3 paper on AI ML. Let me just type this. Okay, so I mistakenly typed question mark here. Yeah, it is searching. It is calling the tool search paper with two arguments, topic and max results. So it will search the AIML topic in three. It will return 3 papers right up here. You can see. And now if you just, you can also see here we have one paper directory. Inside that we have one AIML folder created. Inside that we have some paper info.json where 3 records are inserted related to those papers, where the title, author, summary, PDF URL, and the when it was published date was provided. So if you just go and search @folders, you will get the available topics that AIML is there. And if you want to search inside this, so you can also do that. You can just then you can just search the topic to search the paper in that topic. So inside AIML what is there, so I'm just typing @AIML. so you can see these are the things inside this AIML topic. Let me just again search a new information on stats whether, let me just check whether the statics it is able to extract or not. So yeah, it asks for what are you referring for. Are you referring to statistical methods, or do you want something software package like SAS? Like, it will ask for the what do you want basically. So let me just search the paper on, just copy this and paste it here, statistics. So it will create another folder using topic statistics, and by default it will take 5 papers, because right now we are not mentioning any um, arguments to for the how many papers it should return. So by default it will take 5, so it will return 5 paper ID. And if you want to just summarize any of those, summarize paper ID, this one, then it will summarize it for you by calling the another tool, extract info. So you can see here, paper, we have 2 topics which we searched for, it will create it inside it. So you can see that it's generated the summary from this paper, definition of the statistical continuities and all the things in this PDF as well. Next one is the we see the uses of the tools which we created and the resources that it will be able to create the files in this. So you can also read those you can also read those papers if it is already there. So just search the @AIML summary. Yeah, so it should tell us about the AIML folders. So let me just check how many prompts are there for us. So we have 2 prompts, generate search prompt, that will take the topics and the number of papers which we created in the research server.py, and one is fetch, that will fetch any URL whatever we provided. So its URL, its argument is URL. What if we pass it, it's an optional URL, so if we pass it, it will works, or if we just write the URL as a natural language, it will also choose that. So we check, let me just check the generate search prompt. So to use that, you have the guidance here. To use the prompt, you can use that prompts, and to use any one of the prompt you can use in this format. So let me just use the generate search prompt. Let me use the gen prompt, and this prompt I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna use the topic. What is the topic? I need something related to cricket, and the maximum number of papers I want is 2. So I need to define that as well. You can see that it extracts the executing this prompt first, then extracting the search papers using this tool which we created, and extract 2 results, and then extracting and then calling the tool extract info as well 2 times to extract the information from these 2 papers which we found, and then based on that it will generate the summary, you can say the response, and it will also generate a comprehensive summary of both these papers. So that's how we use these tools, prompts and resources. So let's try the fetch one as well. So let me just try with the fetch, fetch crickbuzz.com, and how does it goes. So it is calling this tool fetch to calling this API, calling this website, but the assistant says that the website crickbuzz has robot.txt file that restrict the autonomous fetching of its contents. So there is some checking are which are assigned to this website, that's why it is not able to extract the information from that. So let me just fetch the summary from this URL, from this article, and this is the URL, medium URL. This is a medium article. I'm just want to summarize this, just check whether it is able to find that or not. So it is extracting this URL. Let's see how it goes. So you can see it summarizes this website. This summarizes this URL and gives you the summary of that. So it is basically it is article based, titled with MCP explained and all, by Edwin Lewski. So yeah, this is how the fetch will work. Now let's just create a file. How we will be see how we can see that it has the access to create read and write access in this file system, you can say, in this workspace. So let me just create a file. Search. I'm again using this fetch command. Fetch this and write a summary of it in text file and save it. So when we say this, it is first calling this fetch tool and using this URL. It is once the URL is called, it get the content, and then it calling the write file tool. Which is inside the file system one, with this path, some MCP summary.txt, and this content it will route into our file system. You can see MCP summary.txt we have here. So this is the summary of this article, you can see right up here. So in this way we can create any document from any summary, any document summary, any article, any website summary where there is no checks are available or no checks are applied. As we see in the ClickBudge case, there is some robotic, like some checks is already placed for the robot.txt file. So if a URL which we have which we were accessing directly, we can summarize it using this fetch, and we can create a separate summary file, summary text file, MD file, etc. And we can also edit this as well. So you can see right now it's summary of MCP, the new standard AI for thinking. I just want to rewrite the file MCP summary in one paragraph and update the file. Let's just see how it goes. So it will check the directories which has its permission. So it has got the access to this folder. It will see the MCP summary file there, and it is calling the read text. But it will first of all it will read the text, and then it summarizes into a single paragraph. You can see inside that it goes, and it's in a single paragraph it adds all the summary of this. So in this way you can create, update the files which you want, and that's how it goes. So that's it for this demo of the MCP server and client. So in this demo we see a simple MCP client which we created as simple chatbot, and MCP server in which we created some tools, resources and prompt as well. And we also added file system, different tools, and fetch server of Python MCP server fetch to fetch some URLs as well. Hope you guys like this video. So you can also try this out in which way, in the way which in which I tried it right now. So hope you guys like this video. See you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.